Alright, I feel like I have lived with the SE Silver Sky for long enough now. It's time to give you guys a proper, kind of more fully fledged out review. That first video you guys saw with me talking about my first impressions was generally just that. I just got in the guitar, picked it up, and essentially just putting it in my hands for the first time and seeing one in person for the first time. I wanted just to convey the first impressions of the guitar. Now, one thing I gotta say right off the bat is that after I made that video, I actually found out that this specific guitar was a floor model and had been used in store by, I assume, quite a lot of people for a few weeks, it sounds like. So all of the kind of finish issues and stuff and just the way it came to me, I can't necessarily say if that's the way it actually came from the factory. Like I assumed I just got a literally brand new guitar. I don't like buying floor model guitars. I don't do that for this exact reason. The few kind of marks in the finish and stuff like that, they might have happened just in store by people picking up the guitar. It's a very popular instrument, so I'm surprised, number one, it just didn't sell if it was sitting in store. But the amount of people that would have been for sure picking it up and playing it, a lot of the marks and stuff like that that I had on my specific model might be from that. So that's one thing I gotta say right off the bat. I can't say for certain that that's a quality control issue with mine. So let's start off by discussing the neck of the SE Silver Sky. When I first heard that it was going to be an 8.5-inch radius on the fretboard, I thought that that was a weird choice. I still think it's a weird choice, but it plays beautifully and that's all that matters. If you handed me this guitar without telling me the radius on it, I wouldn't be able to tell you it was an 8.5. I might have said 7.25 or maybe even 9.5. Telling the actual radius of a fretboard is very difficult when it's in your hand and you have no actual knowledge of what it's supposed to be. It's rather difficult to tell, and all that matters honestly is that it plays beautifully, which it does. One huge plus for the Silver Sky SE is that it comes with rosewood. For the price point, especially here in Canada, I believe if you wanted a Fender with rosewood now, you'd have to spend at least a couple $100 more to get one with actual rosewood. Personally, I don't like Pau Ferraro. Pau Ferraro? Am I pronouncing that right? I don't know. You guys will let me know if I pronounce anything wrong, so I'm sure I'll hear about it in the comments. But I just am not a fan of the way it looks. That's just the honest reality of it, in my opinion. I just don't like the way it looks, and it would always be in the back of my mind knowing that it's not rosewood on the neck. So the fact that you can get a guitar for this price point with a beautiful rosewood neck, that is a huge plus for the SE Silver Sky. The neck of the Silver Sky is actually pretty comfortable. It's not totally like cozy boy status like I'd call the regular Silver Sky, but it is decently comfortable. Especially the finish on the back of the neck, I really like. I hate necks that are super lacquered and get very sticky when you play. I just hate that, and I love fast playing necks just in the way they feel on the back. And the finish on this one is definitely more in that direction, and I really like it. I've never once gotten, caught or just felt like, oh, the back of the neck, I'm not a huge fan of that finish. That's a huge plus as well for the SE Silver Sky. If you are looking for a Silver Sky SE, I strongly suggest two things. Number one, you play it in person. If you can, especially once some of the hype dies down, and these will be just in stock in stores, play them. Play a couple of them. Seeing, number one, the finish in person, but also how the guitar plays, and getting to compare that possibly against a couple other Silver Sky SEs is going to be huge, because you want to choose the one that is the ringer out of the bunch. And this one here, if I'd played it in store, just the way the frets are and stuff like that, I might not have necessarily have picked that up. Now I gotta say, the way the frets are might be due to the climate change, the guitar coming up into Canada in early spring. But with that said, I've had a lot of other guitars brought up and I've never really had an issue like this where the frets are starting to sprout and it just needs work. Moving on to the pickups, and this is a key point with the Silver Sky SE. Now, these pickups are certainly hotter, especially compared to the 2021 Silver Skies and Forward, They are way hotter and they are more reminiscent to me of the original pickups that came with the Silver Sky, which actually are a lot closer to the 64 Strat than the black one. So that's something you got to really keep in mind when thinking about an SE Silver Sky, is that the pickups are going to be more akin to the 64 Strat, not John's black one. And to me, the sound really, I really think this guitar sounds great, especially when we were talking about the Search for Everything era. That whole era, especially with a little bit of hotter pickups like these and just the way they sound, definitely reminds me of that 64 Strat, which was used a lot more during that era. Especially for a song like Helpless, I think it just suits this guitar so well. I think that's kind of a perfect sound. Middle position, the chords for Helpless, and boom. The Silver Sky SE nails that sound. Now, with all of that said about the pickups, they definitely aren't what you would get in a regular run Silver Sky. The response and the dynamics behind them, you can tell that they are lacking a bit, but that's to be expected with a $1,000 guitar. You're not going to get these absolute ringer pickups, and that is something you could consider upgrading. But for the price of the guitar, I think the pickups are quite phenomenal, to be honest. I'm a pretty big fan. The overall feel of the body and how the guitar sits is perfect. I've said this in my first impressions video. It feels like a Silver Sky, and it should. The selector switch, the knobs, and the input jack just being that amazing redesign they did of that, all is still the same on the Silver Sky SE as it is on the regular model. And that's a very key point when you're getting this guitar. You didn't want them to sacrifice any of the stuff that made the Silver Sky amazing, and but just a bit more of a modern step on a vintage instrument. And the way the cutaway works and the whole thing, it's quintessential Silver Sky. The tuners on the guitar are great as well. I've had no tuning stability issues whatsoever. And this evergreen finish, I got to say, it's really grown on me on the time I've owned this guitar. Might have something to do with seeing John play one live. Might have a little bit to do with that, but I'll say it again, the finishes, at least with the evergreen, do look way better in person. So again, it's another reason why to see one in person before you buy it, because I do think that the finishes in person and even in videos on YouTube look way better than they did in a lot of the promotional stuff that they did when they launched this guitar. One thing I just genuinely don't like with the Silver Sky SE is the nut and the truss rod cover. I just can't get along with both of those things, and if you look on mine at least, it doesn't appear to be perfectly lined up, which is just annoying, to be honest. I wish they would have had just a different solution maybe for the truss rod cover, or to make it look just like the regular version. I don't know, but in the pictures you're seeing on screen, I definitely do not like this feature set that comes with the Silver Sky SE. Now let's talk about value with the Silver Sky SE. I know this is going to be a controversial topic. I've seen tons of comments online and people saying either that this is a way too overpriced guitar to a really great guitar for the money. And honestly, I think that at this price point, this is a great instrument. I definitely don't think you're paying more for Mayer's name, that's for sure, because if that was the case, they'd charge more. They charge more for this if you're paying for Mayer's name, and that's not the case at all. That's not why John and Paul decided to build an SE version of the Silver Sky. For the money, I think the neck is phenomenal. You're going to get a really great neck. Again, you're going to want to get it set up and get it to play properly. That's going to be the first thing you do when you buy one of these guitars. But the neck, once you get the frets, maybe a little bit of work done and stuff like that, once you get it set up, man, the guitar is going to play phenomenal, and the neck especially has a lot of potential to be a really long-lasting instrument in your arsenal. I gotta give John and Paul massive props for making the Silver Sky SE even happen. The moment the Silver Sky came out, people were immediately asking for a more affordable version, and they made it happen, and they did a great job with that. When you think of John Mayer's other signature gear, the Silver Sky, the Super Eagle, the Two Rock Mayer signature, the J-Mod amp, you even have the Martin OM28JM, but it has an affordable version, the Martin OMJM, but that's not really an affordable guitar. This truly is an affordable Mayer signature piece of gear. And again, I think they did a great job making that happen. If you are a John Mayer fan and you're looking to purchase your first more serious instrument, or if you're just wanting to add to your collection, here are my last few tips to summarize what to look out for with the SE Silver Sky. Number 1, see it and play it in person. Getting to see the finishes in person is going to be huge to help you decide what finish you like best, as well as to play multiple versions of the same guitar to find the one that's the most resonant without being plugged in, to find the one where the neck just feels perfect for you, and the one that you bond with in store. That's going to be huge. Number 2 is look for any store that offers a free setup with the purchase of one of these guitars. Just in my experience playing this one, but reading a lot of stories online as well, it sounds like a lot of them are going to need a setup. I honestly get every guitar of mine set up just the way I like it. I just expect it and I prefer it that way. It's just a cost that I just know I'm going to need to do when I buy a new guitar. But if you can find a store that offers a free setup with the guitar, I highly suggest you take advantage of that just so that you're not incurring an additional cost to get the guitar playing perfect for you. And the last thing is enjoy the guitar. These are great instruments. I really do genuinely like it, especially for the money. And find one that you like and have a lot of fun with it and just enjoy playing the guitar and enjoy owning a great piece of John Mayer signature gear. And that concludes my non-professional review of the Silver Sky SE. Have a lot of fun with this, guys. Please let me know in the comments down below if you own one, what your thoughts are on the guitar, or if you have any questions and you're looking to purchase one. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'm sure a lot of you guys out there can help others in the comments down below. I'll do my best to reach out and try and explain some things or answer those questions as well for you guys. But yeah, get your hands on one. Try it out. Let me know in the comments down below. And until next time, you guys, thank you so much for watching and for all the support with my channel. I really appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one.
Anyway, go ahead and click the subscribe button if you like what you see.